I'm Steve Blank, author of The 4 Steps to the Epiphany. I'm a lecturer at Stanford School of Engineering and Berkeley Haas Business School.
So, in your keynote, you said the difference between being a visionary and hallucinating is a thin line based on context. We're talking about entrepreneurs, of course. Could you explain a little bit about what you meant?
You know, entrepreneurs start with a vision. They believe that they've had enough data to kind of convince themselves that they understand the customer problem and they understand the features that the customers might need. That in itself is either the seeds for success, but most often the seeds for disaster. The analogy I like to use is, you know, a couple thousand years ago, someone thought he, saw a bush burning, and it wasn't consumed. And then he thought, wait a minute, that bush is talking to me. And, one or two things can happen. Today, if someone told you that, you'd probably give them some medication and maybe put them away for a while. A couple thousand years ago, it started a religion. So it's context sensitive. You're either a visionary, if you're right, or you're hallucinating because you've seen a pattern where there really wasn't enough data for you to make that conclusion. You just converged too early.
And of course, the Bible is the #1 selling book worldwide. So
it's the customer development book, The 4 Steps to the Epiphany. Right?
Okay, fair enough. Then that would be the Bible for entrepreneurs, we would hope. So the purpose of a startup is to test a hypothesis, and then it becomes a business.
So the purpose of a startup, and it took me 30 years to be able to articulate it. What do you do? What's a startup? Gee, it's where we go party, it's a lot of fun, etc. I've actually broken it down to a pretty simple sentence. A startup is a temporary organization that's designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. Full stop. It's not there to hire people, it's not there to deliver a product, it's not there to do, it's to search for a business model. And when you deconstruct the sentence, temporary organization, there are no such thing as 12-year-old startups. There are 2-year-old startups plus a 10-year-old failure. That's a 12-year-old startup. And search means, I get it. All this running around and talking to different people and trying different features and products and pricing, etc. That's where you're searching for a business model. What's a business model? Well, as I offered in the talk, Alexander Osterwalder has said, gee, you could describe any company with 9 boxes or 9 parts to describe a business model. Repeatable and scalable says, I shouldn't be able to do it once. I need to find a set of customers that when I do the same thing or hire a salesperson and they call on them, the same kind of results happen, and so it scales.
So in that sense, failure is built into the system.
Of course.
Which...
So the insight I had is we tend to treat startups like large companies with the assumption that says, there's no search, you hire VP of sales, VP of marketing, etc., you execute, there's the revenue plan you put together in your dorm room or you handed your VC. I think it's the world's best creative writing exercise you're ever going to do. But there really, in the past, has been no notion that maybe perhaps you're wrong. I turn that idea on the head. I say, well, of course you're wrong. In fact, why are we surprised every time VP of sales in a startup doesn't make a revenue plan, we fire them? It happens so often we all kind of laugh because we understand the model. If so, why do we keep banging our head against the wall, right? And so the customer development process said, no, we're just going to assume we're going to be searching for a business model, and we're going to add this giant feedback loop that says most often we'll fail. And we'll fail because one set of assumptions about our business model component, the channel was wrong, the user was wrong, the pricing was wrong, every so often the product feature set was wrong, and we'll just consider that part of doing business and searching, and we call that the pivot. And so what's great about a startup now and the business model diagram is when you combine the two with customer development, you have a starting point, a way to keep score, and an active model for searching that business model space.
And the last question, you sort of equated this knowing when to pivot, as you say, as the role of an artist, not an accountant. So in your opinion, the entrepreneur being an entrepreneur is primarily a creative endeavor?
Sure. So I tend to describe this, depending on the audience, in 2 different ways. To engineers, searching for a business model is an NP-complete function. That's an incalculable. To people who are not engineers, it's art. you know, telling you how to paint, you know, like, make me Starry Night. You couldn't have said that to Van Gogh, you know. Well, I don't know. What mood was I in? That's why you can't compute in a room of 100 startups which are the 5 that are going to succeed. You know, statistically 5 will succeed, and if you knew which one, you know, you'd be investing in them. But so startups really is based on the entrepreneur's instinct and skill for finding opportunities, capitalizing them, and identifying, finding them, capitalizing, and executing on them. But the customer development process and everything I've been teaching now just takes 30 years of experience and says we can enrich that process. We can't guarantee you success. Anybody who tells you that is just smoking something. What we could do is tell you how to actually formalize what it is you're looking for and where we should be looking for success.
Well, Steve Blank, thank you very much. It was very generous to keep your slide deck online, and that's at steveblank.com.
Yeah.
And that's also where people can find your book?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.